Okay, so let's start with a couple definitions so that we can dive in and understand this. So, the customer lifetime value represents the total amount of contribution margin that a customer generates for the company over their lifetime of their relationship with the company. So, all the purchases they make over a long period of time. And the best way to get to the bottom of understanding those dynamics are looking at something called customer retention cohorts. You can pull basically large data sets and take averages, but the cohorts tell you a much more exact story. So I'm just going to explain to you how a customer retention cohort works, and then we will use this to break down the customer lifetime value versus CAC to understand, do we have a profitable business model? So cohorts work like this. So cohorts are organized in groups of customers, and you group them together by the first month they all purchased. So this cohort is the March 2026 cohort, and 167 customers purchased for the very first time in March. This cohort is the April cohort, and 436 people purchased for the very first time in April. So anyone who is coming back and purchasing a second time or a third time, they are excluded because their cohort is an earlier month because they're grouped by their initial purchase month in groups. So the May, this is 659 people purchased for the very first time, right? And so let's start with March. These 167 people purchased 238 orders. So on average, they purchased more than once as a group. Then 1 month later, in M2 of their lifetime, this 167 people purchased 38 more orders. Then they purchased 22 more orders, 15, 11, and 6. So you can see that over these 6 months, these customers, 167 customers, actually placed 330 orders. So on average, if we divide it by the initial customer, over the first 6 months of the customer lifetime, the average customer in this cohort purchased 1.98 orders. And so that's quite different from, if you look at here, you had 880 customers who purchased 1,000 orders. So the average person is purchasing maybe 1.2 times in their first month. But within 6 months, they've actually purchased almost double that. So that is a very different piece of information. So just another piece of information on how to read these cohorts. So let's say we go to June. New customers in this month, 1,123. New customer orders in June, 1,234. So let's go double check these two numbers up above. Let's go to June. So new customers, 1,123, 1,234. So you can see that that is how the cohort information gets totaled up. And if we look at returning customer orders, so these are new orders. And so to get to June, you'd go to May, but then you'd look at the second month of their lifetime. 1 month after May is June. And you'd look at April, and you'd look at the third month of their lifetime. And you'd look at March, and you'd look at the fourth month of their lifetime, because it would be March, April, May, June. So you have to look diagonally across. And so these three numbers added together are your recurring orders. So you can see here that they total up to 122. So if we go to June, and we go to recurring orders, you should see that returning customer orders is 122. So that is how this information gets represented in a customer cohort. And with this information, we can get a really good guess for the customer lifetime orders. So here I'm going to take this formula and copy it down. So this just tells us that in this cohort, over the first 5 months of a customer lifetime, they purchased 1.67. Over the first 4 months, 1.63, et cetera, et cetera. And so the number goes down as you have shorter customer lifetimes. But we're going to assume, for the sake of our analysis, that a reasonable estimate for a customer lifetime orders is 1.98 because that's our cohort with the most historical data.